sorry guys, so I got interrupted with that video, so I had to do it in two. So that's part one, and this will be part two. So as I was saying, back to when I moved to my aunt in Retrieve, which was my grand aunt, it was her aunt, and she started treating me badly because of all the things that my mother told her about me. And she would search me, she would do all of that to me, and she was treating me so badly, until one day I think she threw me out. I came home from school and she wasn't there. I think she went to her sister in Brownstown, and I was sitting down there. I was sitting waiting on her all evening. The rain was falling, and I sat down at the gate on a stone. So when she came home, the back of my uniform was wet because the stone was wet. And she started accusing me that I went with boyfriends and I went to have sex, and she started accusing me, and I think she beat me that day, and I was crying, and I said that I was going to leave, and she told me that I should leave. So I called my grandmother. It was my grandmother again. I called my grandmother in England, and she called my cousin Denise again. They were the two that keep saving me from all the misery. And Denise came for me. Denise told me to come, and I went to Clarkston. She was living there at that time, and I went down there. And from then on, I was living with, I think I went up to Sawyers, if I'm not lying, and I was living with one of Denny's sisters. Yes, I was staying with her. And when I was with her, it was okay for a while, but I couldn't sleep at night in peace. I couldn't sleep at night, and I remember I told her, and it bring an argument and whatever. It bring an argument. So shortly after, she said that I couldn't stay there because I don't even want to mention it. And there was another lady that was living at the same house with her. There was another lady living at the same house with her, and I went to stay with her. My grandma, same way, she was the one sending money. She was the one sending money for me to go to school. And then one of my aunts, Auntie Dana, she was sending she was sending money to that lady as well to help out with me. And all of these people that they did me wrong, they keep calling me like, are you gonna come and look for me, and I love you. And honestly, I'm not saying that I was innocent, but in the first half, living with all these people, I wasn't doing anything. It's not like I had boyfriends giving trouble or anything like that. I remember when I went to live with this lady, it was on the same house, but my cousin and her and the lady they didn't talk. So she told me that, come chill, because I've seen you here and you help out with her kids and you haven't done anything wrong, so you can come and stay with me. So I was staying with her for a while, and I remember my grandma sent a phone for me. My grandma sent a phone for me from England, and my uncle gave me the phone. She sent it to him, and he gave it to me, and the phone did not have a SIM card in it. And she was saying that I was on the phone with boyfriend. How can I be on a phone that didn't have a SIM card? And so she went down to my uncle and she told him, and my uncle came up there and he beat me. He didn't even listen to the story, but he beats me. But I don't blame him, because if someone tell you something about me, and he came and he disciplined me, so I even though it was a lie against me, I don't blame him. It's like he cannot do anything wrong to me because of how he treated me and how he took care of me when I was little, sending me to school and all of that. So from there on, I had to leave and go back to live with my cousin in Clarkstown, and it was a relief. It was okay. We had our fights, we had our dispute, but that was it. She didn't throw me out, she didn't run me. She would spend her own money. She was living there with her baby father and her daughter and her son, and she took me, my brother and my cousin in, and she sent us to school. My grandma would send money for her, and she sent us to school. I didn't have a problem living with her there. I didn't have a problem. But my mother was such a wicked. I remember when I left, my uncle got sick, and then my grandma called and said that we need to go back to where we grew up and live there so we can take care of our uncle. We didn't want to go back up there, but we went back, and I was living with my uncle, and I was taking care of him until he met someone and whatever. I was there with him until I started to date my oldest son father, and I went to live with him. I was there for couple years. Yeah, I was there for a couple years, and that's where I've been since. My mother, she would come down. I remember when my sister, because my sister was still living in Colombia, and I don't know what she was doing to her over there. I never heard from them. I've never spoken to my sister since I left to Colombia. I've never heard anything. All I knew is that my sister poisoned herself. She ate rat poison. She poisoned herself and she ended up in the hospital. And that is how my sister came back to Jamaica. She had to poison herself for her to send her back. And that's when she realized how serious it was, and that my sister was willing to kill herself not to live with her. So she sent her back to Jamaica. When my sister came to Jamaica, my sister hated me. She hated my uncle because that's how my mother was. Sorry. She would turn us against each other. She would beat me, and she would say like, Chin tell me this about you. She would beat me and say, Julissa said this about you, and then she would beat Julissa and say, Chin tell me this about you. So she tried to turn us against each other, and we grew up hating each other. We grew up resenting each other as sisters. Only my brother, we loved our brother, especially me. I loved my brother, so there was nothing. He wasn't involved. But my sister, all three of us ate each other. We hated our little sister because she treated her like a queen. She gave her everything. She sent her to school. She did everything for her. She didn't beat her. She didn't give her anything to do. She could have her own way. She could go wherever she wants. But that was not applied to me and my older sister. All was applied to us was work. It was like we were a slave. It was work and beaten. That was it. So we hated our little sister for those times. And so while I was living there with my uncle and my sister came back, my sister didn't like me. She didn't like my uncle because she said that whatever my mom told her and all of that, so she didn't really talk to us. And shortly after my sister came to Jamaica, she came down. It's like every time she sent us down, she comes down shortly after. And that was a misery again. She was there. She was staying at my uncle's house, and she came, and I remember when she left Colombia for good and she came to Jamaica. One of my auntie in America, she was the one helping my sister. She was taking care of her. Even that my mother would lie against she and my grandma that they're the one who told us to come back from Colombia. She don't tell anyone the real story, that it's the way that she treated us and wasn't sending us to school and was beating us, abusing us. That's the reason why we wanted to come home. She lie and she tell them that, oh, my auntie and my grandma is the one that caused it. And it was nothing like that. It was nothing like that. We didn't hear from them. They weren't calling us in Colombia. We hardly hear from anyone. Even when my grandma died in Jamaica, we didn't know till way after. We weren't hearing from any family members. But they didn't cause anything. It was my mother's wickedness. And when my sister came down after poisoning herself, she was here, and my mother came down, and she made the girl life a living hell. My sister had to run away, and my auntie was helping her still. I don't know what happened, but I heard my sister always saying that she ended up in a home as well, girls' home. She was there for a while. A lot of bad things happened to her. She was abused there. My sister, I went through a lot, but as I said, I am very strong. But my sister, it affected her. My sister went through so much. Even after poisoning herself, my mother came to Jamaica and she treated her so bad. She made her life a living hell. She ended up in girls' home. I don't know her full story. She would like cuss sometimes and say it, but I cannot speak for her. But I knew that she ended up in girls' home, and she was just bouncing from one place to another. She was bouncing until she gets older. And even of lately, she treats her bad same way. And I remember when she came, I was still going to high school, and I don't know what happened, but she moved back to Jamaica. She and my little sister, they moved back home, and she started working at a hotel. I remember one day asking my mother for lunch money to go to school. My sister was living with her father. My youngest sister was staying with her father down the line, and she didn't start school yet. And I said to her, Mommy, can you give me money to go to school? And she said to me, I only have $1,000, and it is to give to Tishan if I don't have any money to give to you. My mother has never bought me a pencil to go to school. Never. Right throughout my high school in Jamaica, and she came back living here. She has never bought me a pencil for school. The only time she sent us to school when she feels like was when we were in Colombia. She sent us to school a few times. But in Jamaica, my mother has never helped me to send me to high school. One time have I ever asked her for something to go to school and she never give me the money. I had to take my uniform. I had to take my uniform off and stay home that day. She didn't give me the money. She said the money was to give to Tishani. Tishani weren't going to school. She was just at her father. She didn't start school yet. And so these were the things why we hated our sister, because of all that she was doing, right? And she carry on and she carry on up until this day. My mother still is a wicked. She lies against us. The last thing she did was to tell her that I had her key for her house and I breaked into her house. First she said that I put a key, and then she said that I didn't give her key. And family too, they are so wicked. Like whenever she do any wrong towards us, they would just be like, oh, it is your mother, it is your mother. They don't want to hear anything. They keep saying that it is your mother, it is your mother, you have to. That is how he ended up back in Trelawney. And I would come down sometimes and I would help him out, help her out with her restaurant and stuff like that. But she would, every time she would do something that I would just leave and don't go back around her. I remember she was opening another restaurant when she moved, and I was cleaning out the bathroom, and Tishani came into the bathroom, and she came there and was like, why you have me picnic in the bathroom? Why you have me child in the bathroom, cleaning the dirty bathroom? And I never forget that. And I was wondering, like, am I not your child too? So if I'm good enough to clean the bathroom, why isn't she good enough also to help clean the bathroom? And I was there with her. It was exam time, so I weren't going to school as often. It was CXC time, so we didn't have to go every day, and I was helping her out. And I remember when the restaurant opened, I was talking to my father on the phone. And she weren't pleased. I was working all day. She didn't care if I took a break. She didn't care if I eat or anything like that. And this woman just started to cuss and telling me that I am on the phone and I must serve her customers. She didn't care if I was working like an ass without break. So we had an argument there, and I left and I didn't talk to her, and I went back to Trelawney. For years I didn't talk to her until she told me we started talking after my oldest son, and she said I should go to Montego Bay, come to Montego Bay and live, and she would rent place and she would send me to school. And it's like once you're happy, she tries to mess you up. She come around and she treats you like, yes, she's going to change, and she goes back to the same thing. And when I was living at the place that she rented, and I finished the Cosmos school for the 6 months, and she told me that I should move from where I'm living and move to another house. So I moved from Lilliput and I moved to Anchovy, and I rented a place there, and she was talking to the landlord. She paid the rent and everything until my father sent me to high school. I knew my father when I was 15, 16, those ages. She came to Jamaica, and that's when she said that she found my father. That was Patrick then, and his name was Patrick, and she let me talk to him, and we started talking, and he sent me to school. He took care of me. I'm not lying, he took care of me. And it was then after when something happened with me and my father, and she wasn't pleased. She didn't even care that the man took care of me. It wasn't anything bad, and like we were doing some paperwork for him to take me, and things came up and whatever, and she didn't care. She wasn't pleased. She said that me and my father was the same thing, and we were ganging up against her and all of that, and she stopped paying the rent. I remember the landlord came to me and just said that your mother said that she's not going to pay any more rent, and I have to rent the place. I have to get my money, so I'm going to give you a little time to find somewhere for yourself. I remember I was doing nails those time, and I was like, what am I going to do? I weren't making a lot of money. I didn't have a lot of customer. How am I going to start on my own now? And I said, okay, just give me a little time. I told my landlord, just give me a little time and I am going to move. And I found another 2-bedroom. It was cheap. I was paying 13,000 those times. same place in Antovi, and I moved there. I was paying it on my own. I didn't have any help from her. I weren't talking to her. She weren't talking to me because she vexed that me and my father was against her, and she didn't even appreciate that the man spent so much money on me. The man sent me to high school. He did everything for me. She didn't say thanks to him. She just cussed me, and that's it. And when my youngest sister left high school, she told me that she called and said that we went to her graduation. Me and my sister and her husband came down and we went to the graduation. I remember even when we went to the graduation, she accused my brother of stealing her husband's suit. She sent down 2 suits, one for her husband and one for my brother. Why would you have the same clothes and steal another one? And she accused my brother of stealing her husband's suit. And even when her husband told her that he found the suit, she was telling him that he's lying. That's what he told us. She said that he's lying because Rambo stole the suit. He didn't found it. And that's how wicked she was. And she told me to left my house that I was paying rent, and she would pay the rent. I should move to Ryan Park. It was a better place, and I should stay with my little sister. I didn't want to go. Even my little sister, she didn't want to go because she knew how she was, and she had stopped. My sister didn't do exactly what she wanted for her to do, so she started to treat her bad those times. She was bouncing around. She was going to high school in Portland. She would even let her living on her own. And I said, okay, I'm going to go and stay with her, because it's what she always do. She will always come around, friend us up and tell us to do this, do that, and it turns out to be the same thing. So I said, okay. And we moved. Me and my sister moved to Ryan Park, and I remember she came down. I had my uncle that died. His baby mother was living in Montpelier, and I would go there often. And I saw a shop renting, and I told her about the shop, that we could have rent the shop and opened a grocery shop. It was a good business. She agreed, and she sent the money, and I was fixing up the shop. I built counters and everything. She came down shortly after that. I didn't even know that she was coming, but it's a good thing that whenever she sends money for me to do anything, I would just go right ahead and do it. So when she came, everything that she sent money for me to do, it was all there. And I remember she came down and she run me out of the house. I was living in my own house, paying my own bills, and she begged me to move and that she was going to pay the rent. She run me out again, and I had to go to stay with Michelle. That was my hunger baby mother. And even when I went there, she called Michelle on the phone, and she was telling her that I said all sorts of bad things about her. And Michelle was like, Chim, don't worry, I'm not going to listen to anything. It's like she wanted Michelle to throw me out on the street. That's what she wanted. She said, just read your Bible, just pray, and just find something good to do, and that's it. You can stay here until you can help yourself again. And I stayed with Michelle for a while. She never showed me a bad face. She never said anything bad to me. She never treated me bad. I was there. I helped her in her shop. I never stole anything from her. Michelle can never say that she ever missed anything. Whenever she leave me in her shop, she would make even more money. And I remember the shop wasn't going as well as she wanted it, because I was the one who fixed the shop, and she took all of that from me. And it wasn't going as well as she wanted it to go. And the guy that she put in there to work, it wasn't making any money. I remember I was even going to a security school, and when I was supposed to graduate, my mother hold on my clothes. When she run me out of the house, she even kept my clothes. All I had was just the few clothes that I packed up the day and left with. She hold on to my uniform. I couldn't graduate. I couldn't do anything. When I called her father and tell him he didn't do anything, he was like, your mother said this, your mother said, you said you're going to let man shoot her. Me and her didn't hold any conversation like that. She was just lying against me. And for about a year, I was there until the shop was breaking down, and she called Michelle and she told her, and Michelle said, why don't you give the shop to Chin and let Chin run the shop, because she's the one who told you about it. She found the location, she fixed it up, and you come and you see how she treated things. And she said, okay, she has to apologize to me first. I don't know what I should apologize for. I didn't do anything to her, but I did apologize. I did. And she gave me the shop. I remember one time she gave me back the shop. She buy some goods and she stuck it back. And for about 3 to 4 weeks, she would come every week and she would take her stock and she would take her money. And when the rent was due the other month, do you know what my mother did? My mother said to me that she's not going to pay any rent because she gave me the shop. After she buy all the goods, and she came every week and take all the money that I make for the whole month until the rent due. She took all the money that I make, and she didn't buy back anything. And when the shop wanted goods, and I said, Mommy, the shop wanted goods, the shop needs to be stocked now, the shop wants goods, she said, why am I telling her that? She don't care about the shop because she gave the shop to me. So I said to her, but I gave you all the money that I make every week. You come and you take stock and you take the money and you pay me. So how am I going to restart the shop? The shop is not mine. I don't have any money to stock it or to pay the rent. And I remember calling my father, which is in Canada, which is another person, he's in Canada, and I called him, and she was telling him that she gave me the shop, and I was saying, oh, can she give me the shop and she takes stock? But it's like they cannot give her any wrong. Like they cannot tell her it's always like this. My family, my father, anyone, they never tell her that she's wrong. They're always saying that this, your mother said this. They never said that you are wrong. You cannot be doing this to your kids. They didn't care. They didn't say anything like that. And that was another setback for me. I remember I cried. I had to close the shop down, and I had to leave one of the fridge and the shelves that I built, because they were expensive. The shelf, the ply boards and stuff, I left it all there, and I gave it to the owner and tell him that I don't have the money to cover the bills, because when she moved there, they had a problem with the meter. She was paying like $800, and that's impossible for you to pay in 800 Jamaican dollars for light bill. And they told us that whenever the meter is not working, but whenever it's fixed, you're going to get all the back bill. And she knew that, but because of how wicked she was, when they fixed the meter and I told her that the bill was like 60 something thousand, she told me that she was not responsible for that, and she was paying bill all the time. I said, like, Mommy, you were paying $800. That could not be. It's a business. It's a store with 2 fridge, lights, everything in it. So the bill could never be $800. And they told you at JP's that they would send you the bill when the meter is fixed. She said that she's not going to pay it, and she is not responsible. So I had to close the business down. I weren't making enough money because I did not have the goods to sell to make the money. And there were a lot of shops there, so it wasn't a good location. But at first, when I went there and there was things in the shop to sell, I was making the money, and she took all of that from me. And I had to close the shop down. I cleaned it. I left the fridge and the counters when I was leaving, and I told the lady, the landlord wife, and he said to me, I've never seen someone as honest as you. Because the husband was sick and she was a nurse, she weren't there. I could have simply moved my things out and she would never see me again. But I left the fridge, I left the counters, I cleaned it. Another person could just walk in and start a business. And she said that I've never seen someone as honest as you. And I left and I went on my own. I wasn't talking to her for like 3 years. And she would lie against me. She would say all sort of bad things. She'd say all sort of bad things. She'd tell people all sort of, I've met it with this woman. I've been through it. This is not a mother who she do all this wickedness. She doesn't have a heart. She never tried to reach out to us. She never tried to say that she's sorry. She didn't do anything to us to say that I did this for you. I did this to help the situation. No. She was just whole, wicked. She was just cruel towards us. She hated us. She tried to break us. She said that we wouldn't become anything good in life. She called us whore, bitches. She called us all sort of name. It was just about her and her husband. It's always about her and whoever is in her life. It's never about her kids. She treats us like nothing. Even my youngest sister that she treats good, that she spoiled. Now she treats her like nothing. And I remember even my holy sister, again, after trying to commit suicide in Colombia, my mother would tell her that used to tell her that she didn't know her father, and my sister always wanted to know her father. And when my sister's father died, My mother was the first one to let my sister know that her father died and told her where her father's family was. And all her life she's been asking her, and she said that she didn't know where the man was. She didn't know the man's family. She didn't know anything. And I remember even me and my sister got into a fight about it, and I told her that if she knew her father, she would have told her. And it happens that she did know where the man was. And when he died, my sister went there and they weren't treating her good. I don't know what happened. My sister tried to commit suicide again. She took a lot of pills and went to the beach. It was someone who picked her up at the beach unconscious. She tried to commit suicide. All of this happened because of how wicked my mother was. Even when we were over 18, she still tried to break us. She still tried to do wickedness to us. And we'd come around. All our family would say, forgive it, your mother. You have to forgive her. They didn't care about the pain that we were feeling. They didn't care about the pain that we were going through and all the pain that my mother was casting us. They didn't care about that. All they care about is it's your mother. And when she lied to them, I don't know if it was money, I don't know what, they were just frightened for something, so they didn't care about what she was doing. They never had the guts to say that you're wrong, you cannot be treating your kids like this. I've watched that woman wicked to even not only us, she lied against her friends. She's so wicked. If you tell her that the fan is black, she would say that you said the fan is blue. That's how wicked she is. She's nothing near a mother, nothing near. I remember when my son got shot. I'm gonna share that in another story, maybe tomorrow, because tomorrow is his birthday. And I remember when she was calling my phone. There's many more that she has done to me, but it cannot explain. And I remember she was calling my phone. She was calling my phone that day when my son was in the surgery, and I didn't answer her. I didn't want to talk to her. And my friend said to me, talk to her, because she just wants to know how the child is doing, and it's a trying time now. You're going to meet people around you. And my father even said that to talk to her. And I said, I think about it, and I talked to her. I think it was the next day or the night that I spoke to her. I answered her when she was calling. But I was saying to them, I'm not going to talk to her, because this woman, she would just come, she's a spirit breaker. She would just come and do the same thing once I talk to her again. But I did, because that's all they care about. My family would all they care about. You have to forgive it, your mother. And I did so until the other day, a couple months ago. I remember she left her key gift me way back when. She left her house key gift to me, because she has a house and none of us is living there. It's locked up. She left her key gift to me that I would go there and I would clean up and whatever, and I gave them back the key when she hired a helper to come down and take care of my two sisters' kids. And I gave them the key, and I never had her key ever again. I remember when her husband was here and leaving, she told me to go and get the key. And when my baby father took me there, he told me that he was not going to give me his key, and I left. And I don't know where the key was. My youngest sister had the key, and when my sister left to America, my mother told me that my sister left with the key. It was just the other day that my sister was telling me that the key was left with her boyfriend at her house, because she left her two cars there at my sister's house. And she told my father someone break her house. I don't know who it was. I was pregnant with my daughter when I was at work when my brother called me and told me that someone called him and telling that my mother was telling police that it was me and my brother who broke into her house and took whatever they took from there. And I was like, I was even laughing. I was saying, that woman is crazy. I didn't know anything about this. I was pregnant with my daughter. I had a lot of complications. I didn't have time to break in a house or give anyone key. I didn't have a key for her house, a matter of fact. And I heard about this, and I weren't talking to her. But before then, she told me that she was going to send the key to me when she go back to Colombia, because she had a surgery there. She never sent the key. My baby father would come and say that he sees my mother car in town, and I'm saying no, it's impossible, because my mother is not here and she has the key with her, so no one can be driving the car without a key. And he was saying, yes, I see your mother car in town. The same time I text her and I said to her, Mommy, because she always said that I'm going to send the key I'm going to mail the key to you so you can go and clean up the house. Usually my baby father would drive, and me and him would go there and just look on the outside, and I would tell her that the yard want to cut or anything like that, because we could only look outside because I didn't have a key for the place. And I learned that the key was with my brother-in-law. That's my sister baby father, but they weren't together, and the key was with him. I didn't know, so I texted her, and she had the message sending around, sent to my father, that I didn't have any respect, and I faced it with her. But I was saying, like, he's driving your car and you have 3 kids in Jamaica, and you couldn't give one of us the car. You couldn't leave the car with us. I don't want to talk to you because you're wicked, you're cruel. You have me here thinking that you were going to send the key for me to go and clean up the place. That time the key was with my brother-in-law, so she was just playing because she didn't want to give me the key. She didn't want me to know that my brother-in-law had the key for the house and was driving the car. So it was a surprise when the house, after my brother-in-law had the key, they break into the house. I don't know when the breaking happened, but they found out that the house was breaking, and things moved. And she said that it was me and my brother because I cut a key. She told my father that I cut a key for the house. That's what she said, and I weren't talking to her until when the incident happened with my son. That's when I spoke to her, because they told me to talk to her because she just cared and she wanted to know what was going on. I didn't want to, but I talked to her afterwards, and it all happened again. She sent some things down, and my sister called me and said that Mommy sent some things at the house for you. And I was like, I am not going to her house. It doesn't matter what. Remember, we were talking, but I was careful. I'm tired of her calling me thief. Many times she called me thief. Her husband called me thief many times. Not only me, but anyone go around them, they call them thief. Everyone to them is a thief. And I spoke to her, and when they called me, said that the things was at the house for me, I told them I'm not going to go there for it. I'm not going to her house. So if it's there, it has to stay there, or whoever have it have to bring it to me somewhere else. And they took it, the lady bring it to me. It was some clothes for my son and some stuff, and the lady bring it to me in town. So I remember the night that she called me. She was calling for days, and I didn't want to talk to her because I know that she was bad news. I know that once I talked to her, it was bad news. So even though my son was sick, I would text her and I would talk to her a little bit, but I would not. Sometimes she calls and I don't answer because I was trying to stay as far as possible from her. And because she sent the stuff, I wanted to say thanks. So she was calling that night, and I answered her and I said that I got the stuff from the lady, so thanks. And she was saying, I was telling her about some of the things, and she said to me, if you didn't want to go to the house, how are you going to get the things? And I said, I'm not going to your house because every time that I go to your house, you accuse me of stealing something. And that's when it started again. This woman, we were on a video call telling me that I was the one who break into her house, me and my brother, and I did not give her back her key when she knows that I gave her her key. She knows that she sent me to her husband to collect the key when he was leaving Jamaica, and he did not give me the key. And she accused me right in my face. All this time I was hearing it from people, but she never told me to my face. But she told me to my face. That night I cried. I don't cry easily. I cried, and we had big things on the phone. I tell her some stuff where I don't even know where they came from. My father was on another line, and he texted me how disappointed he was in me, but he didn't have the time to say to her, like, you told me before that she cut the key, and now you're saying that she didn't give you the key, and you cannot be accusing someone if you don't know who went into the house. She said that the neighbors tell her that they saw her kids going into the house, and when I saw the neighbor in town, he told me that my mother is accusing them of breaking in her house. So she's saying that it is me and my brother, and she's still accusing the neighbors that they're the one who went into her house, to show you how wicked she is. And that was it for me. I told myself that as long as life is, I will never speak to her again. Never. I will never speak to that woman again. She is wicked. She doesn't mean us any good. She ate her kids for no reason. And family, they are, I don't know what to say about them. Like they don't try to set peace. They never try to build peace. They all comes in and they listen to what she has to say, and they blame us. They never listen to her side. And that's the reason why I decided, listen, it's just me and my kids. Me and my kids. I will be on my own. I am okay on my own, far away from them, because they are just spirit breakers. There are a lot of mothers out there, like people would say it's your mother, how can a mother abuse you? But trust me, some mothers can be very abusive, some mothers can be wicked. So if there's a mother out there who is trying to reach out to their kids, I think that if it's easy to forgive them. My mother never tried to reach out to us. My mother never believed in us. Even the other day when I put out the video about my abuse, she said that I'm lying. She said that I didn't say anything to her. She never believed in us. She don't care about us. She doesn't have a heart. She never feel like she's supposed to apologize. Sometimes my sister would say, how can she be so wicked and still nothing is happening to her? Like no one is saying you cannot do this, you cannot do this to your kids. No one cared. All they care about is being behind her. And if there are many mothers, I'm not saying that we were perfect, but there are many mothers who left their kids for reasons, who believe in their kids, who try to help them. If that mother is trying to reach out, I would surely forgive them. But as for my mother, I am done. I am done. It's just my time. After this, after sharing my pains, this is it for me. I just want to live my life. I just want to be on my own. I don't want anyone telling me anything or saying it's your mother, it's this, it's that. I am tired of forgiving her, and she keeps doing the same thing. She will never change. She is just cruel. She is just cold. She is just wicked, and she is a great liar. She is a great liar. So this is it for me. I am tired. This is it for me. So thank you guys for listening. As I said, there are mothers out there who has done wrong things, but they're trying to reach out. They want forgiveness. My mother is not that type of person. She don't want forgiveness. She has never done anything for the betterment of us. She just do wickedness to us, and that's it. So this will be it for me today. Thanks you guys for listening. Subscribe to my channel. Tomorrow I will be sharing about my 4-year-old that was shot, because it's his birthday tomorrow, so I will be telling that story. So like and subscribe to my channel, and thank you guys for supporting. Thank you.